for graduate students. Specifically, I'll be dealing with students who are in botany. Life science as a whole, we can also discuss. But as the madam said already, that we are running short of time, and because we do have two meetings scheduled today at 1 p.m. I don't know how far I'll be able to give proper focus onto this subject. But otherwise, I think I'll provide you majority of information, and I'll also provide my email address and contact details. So whenever whosoever students who are willing to contact me, you feel free. You can contact me anytime via email. Right. So let's start with the various career avenues, specifically in botany subject. Right. I think in the previous lecture, I too have studied under Professor Kishore Rajput in my BSc. I love botany, but it was only for 1 year, so I couldn't continue with more. And I did my BSc and MSc in biotechnology. Fine. So as we rightly see, that people say the plants are life. Fine. But the majority of time, what the common public they see is plants. Plant basically as the wooden structures. That is, we say right from the cradle to coffin. Sir also said in his lecture, and that our life starts with a cradle, which is made up of wood, and it ends in a coffin. Or specifically, if you are belonging to other sect or religion, we say it ends with the asti, fine, which is again burned with the woods. Fine. So this is a normal thing that people look at. Fine. That is how they describe botany. They describe botany as the wooden structures. Fine. But if a person is of education background, fine, but not of a botany, he may see the lower ones. That is, he may see all the flowers, the floral structures. He may see the ornamental structures in plants. Fine. He may also see some medicinal important plants like that. Right. But he may not be actually judging the subject. Fine. So what actually the subject is, fine. If he is of more interest, he is more literate, he may describe it as a plant or potted plant. He may describe something like bonsai. He may know few of the things like he may know few of the birds like tissue culture. Fine. So he may describe things like this. I think majority of you have faced similar problems while we are discussing your subject with some unknown person who is not of botany, who is not aware about the current trends, who is not aware about how the research is done, who is not aware how the trends are changing, right? So they describe this subject in different ways that we have seen. Now, actual botany or the actual research will be like this, right? You have all sort of subjects that are combining, fine. You need to focus on agriculture, you need to focus on aquaponics, hydroponics is the new technology. If you go and visit various websites or the country, I think Israel is focusing more on agricultural technologies, and they're developing newer technologies which are really very important for the future of this subject. Right? Whatever newer businesses are setting up by farm technology, organic agriculture, organic farming. Right? So what I see botany or what I see the future of this research, it will be something like this. It would include each and every concept. Yeah, it would include everything right from growing a simple plant, a simple potted plant in your petri dish or in your test tube or in a pot and going on to its genome analysis, gene analysis, complete thing. Right? So for me, the botanical research is what you are seeing currently on this slide. Right. Now I think after looking onto these 2 to 3 slides, you all are now being confused which way to choose, which way to go, or what are the things that you can do after your BSc or MSc or pursuing your career in this field. Right. The simplest and the most adorable thing that people love. Right. So up till now, if you are facing the problem that what sort of thing you can do, or you are having limited career options since you have selected BSc Botany, right? That's not the thing. Fine. So I say plenty is the word. Fine. If you're really into the plants, you're working with plants, you have enormous opportunity. Fine. There are various field options available which you can focus on. Fine. You can go ahead with your research, you can correlate, you can find a better position. Fine. So I have identified few of the fields. You may relate with it. You may find some other fields as well. If you Google it down, you may find n number of applications of your field. Fine. Only thing is that the zest should continue, and you should feel that you should be working, you should be dedicating your time into it, and you should be contributing your part onto this subject. Right. So these are few areas which I have identified, and I would share with you that you have at least 10 different or few different areas in which you can make or you can shape your career into. Right. First one is obviously the education sector. All of you might be knowing. Right. Even we as a students, we have done our research and all, and finally we ended up in the education sector. Right. Because education sector is one of the booming sector. I don't know how it contributes to the economy, but it is still a booming sector, and you have plenty of options available if you are into this. Right. Simply starting with education sector. Next is followed by the agriculture sector. Agriculture sector, all of you know that a person who is having botany background can get into agriculture sector if he or she has a farm of his own. Then sky is the limit for you to do research and to do practice agriculture in the modern way. Right. Next is forestry. I won't focus much on forestry because sir has already taken up that part, that how forestry research is taken up, and how the field is declining slowly and slowly. But we'll still focus on, there are various avenues open in that also. Right. Then the evergreen field I would say is the ecology and taxonomic research. Though I have colored it yellow, it is an evergreen field. Right. Ecology and taxonomy research. Newer plants, newer studies are being carried out in diverse ecological niche. Fine. So many scientists are there, and it is a very good field for research as well. Next is the environment sector. Of course, it is the alarming sector for all of us. Fine. We should also focus on environment. Development of a sustainable environment is or we say it is need of the hour. Right. So environmental sector is also where you can give your inputs. Then, of course, if you are studying plants, you know the importance of plants to produce a large amount of aromatic and medicinal compounds. And these compounds are used in various ways in drug discovery. So pharmaceutical research and drug discovery is a potential field where you can give your inputs. Next is genetics and plant breeding. This is by and large the most important sector where you have your application. That is plant breeders. Fine. Every now and then there will be advertisement by various companies. Fine. They will be requiring seed scientists. They will be requiring plant breeders, plant nurses, like that. Next is the food sector. This is also a sector that is having or gaining much of importance in Indian scenario, and because we are the largest producers, we are in the market. We are in the market of FMCGs as well. Right, so food sector is growing hugely. Right. Then comes the biotechnology sector. Now our field has got application. Botany has got application in biotechnology as well. Right. Whatever areas of research are currently going on, biotechnology has got its impact onto it. Right. So you need to collaborate with other subjects. Merely focusing on only botany, merely focusing only on anatomy, ecology, or taxonomy of plants won't do the work for you. Fine. So you need to collaborate with other subjects as well. You need to modify your research accordingly. You need to change your focus accordingly, and you need to add on to certain subjects of biotechnology into your research. And lastly, the private sector companies. These private sector companies are always there as a career option for all of us. If you want to pursue further career, private sector companies are always there, which are focusing, but they are having their own protocols, they are having their standard SOPs, you need to work according to that. They have their aim and their focus, and basic focus what they have is generating large amount of money. Fine. Whatever SOPs that they give you, you need to follow that SOPs. There is no scope of research or doing anything that is new. Whatever technologies they have transferred, those technologies you work onto it and to develop a particular product that is entering into the market. You cannot do anything of your own. Right? So your intellect, your input cannot be added into it. So that is the reason why, even though you will be getting a huge amount as a salary, I have kept that sector as the last sector which I prefer. Right? So we'll take up each of these sectors individually. I'll be giving a very brief information about each of these sectors. Right? So one of the finest and noblest profession which is accredited worldwide, that is the education sector. Additional degrees that you need to take, that is after your PhD botany or your master's, you can always go for B.Ed and M.Ed degrees, that is you can always go for education degree, which are obviously required if you prefer to be in school teaching. Fine. The school and higher secondary are always an option for a science teacher. Fine. And of course, this is not a sector that you would say that it is not having money. Previously, it was like that. It was not having that much handsome amount. But nowadays, looking into the cutthroat competition for entering into the IITs, for entering into the national institutes, fine. At higher secondary levels, science teacher is having a huge importance. Fine. Now, after your MSc degree, you can always focus on NET/SLET, and if you are really interested in higher education sector, you can always go for NET/SLET and the national eligibility test for lectureship or state level eligibility test for lectureship. You can always do it, and you can always go for a college teaching or a university. You can profess at the university level institutes. And even national level institutes, they have their vacancies, and at each position, and you will be asked for various credentials. So these credentials that you get is after your BSc degree, you can always focus on masters, or you can have add-on degrees onto it. Right? These add-on degrees always focus on the degrees which are upcoming or which will be in the market after 5 years down the line. Right? So it will give you a chance to establish yourself in the market with those degrees. Otherwise, it will be very much difficult that currently whatever trends that you are seeing, you enter into that trend, and by the time you are ready, fine, the market has changed, the scenario has changed. So it will be very much be difficult for you to then focus on to with same degrees and to carry out some profession. Next is the agriculture sector. Fine, the agriculture sector is not merely now farming, that is, it has got tremendous potential. One can set up manufacturing units, processing units, bulk packaging units, and still further, there are scope to shape your future as a manufacturer of chemicals, fertilizers, pesticides, etc., etc. Right. Even what we have seen now. I think majority of you know now that Gujarat or Saurashtra region, it is an engineering hub. Right. Many mechanical engineers come up with newer ideas. So now the trend is changing. It is not like that only the person who is having a farmland will be interested in agriculture. The scenario has now changed. Fine. So more and more engineering graduates, they are coming on, and maximally they are attracted towards this sector. Fine, because they are into the manufacturing, they are into designing of various gadgets and equipments that can ease the work of farmers. Fine. It is not only simply that you are now working with tractors. Fine. The technology has changed. For harvesting technologies, newer equipments are being introduced into the market, and thanks to the engineering sector who is showing this interest in agriculture. Right? So there is a huge potential in this field also. So partnering with somebody who is of mechanical engineering background and designing some post-harvesting technology or harvesting technology, you can enter into this business. Even now, the scenario has changed nationally. Fine. The number of startups that have come up within this last decade have been running successfully. Fine. So startup is something that is more focused on agriculture sector. You will be finding immense opportunities for your startup. If you have an innovation in mind, you can always apply. Few websites I have given listed here. That is, various government initiatives are there. That is Atal Innovation Mission and Atal Tinkering Labs. These are the websites or government initiatives where you can find the details, and you can always apply and fetch funds for your startups or innovations that you have in your mind. Startup India initiative has also been promoted, and it is running successfully worldwide. I'm sure many of you might have come across, because each and every state is running their own startup events. So you can get on details from this website, and it is also a nice career option that one can opt for. The third is the forestry sector. I think a part of it was already discussed by my sir, Dr. Kishore Rajput. Fine. So for those who are in love with nature, you can always choose this as a career option, because you will be having a large number of outdoor sampling and outdoor exotic work environments. Fine. But only thing is that the interest of a person in this field is slowly diminishing. Fine. But studies of many unknown varieties can always be done. But as sir rightly said, that since the interest in few of the classical subjects is diminishing, you will find very less amount of people entering into this. But still, there are government jobs opening available in this sector. There are various positions for ecologist, forest officer, museum curator, arboretum expert, etc., etc. Right? Dedicated ministry is already working onto it. That is Ministry of Forest, Environment, and Climate Change. You can always log onto it, and you can see various initiatives that are taken up by these ministry. And still, the interest is diminishing. But if youth is interested in developing this sector, there is always the large potential in this sector. The timber and teak wood industry will always be booming. Only thing is that if you're always cutting down into trees, you cannot generate forests. So there are always steps to be taken to enhance the green cover. The research should be made in that way that more and more tree species are developing, of course, which can later on be used as a timber. But still, more and more plantation drive should be taken, initiative should be taken. So these are all things that are done in collaboration with various NGOs. Government also funds large, but you can always take this as a career option because you'll always be, I think 100% of your time you will be with nature. And it is always good to be with nature, and you will always be having the health benefits from it. Independent as well as government approved projects are available. You can always have these details from autonomous bodies and government websites such as Forest Survey of India. Fine. So these are established, and they will give you all sort of information about career openings and possible projects or recruitments that are at various positions in these projects. Right, so forest research and forestry is also a sector that we can focus on. Next sector which I identified is the traditional, the classical ecology and taxonomic research. This will be always in market. Fine. So as they say, once a botanist, always a botanist. So for those who are in love with taxonomy, ecology, plant physiology, the grass is greener in their side. Fine. The scope of shaping your career as a botanist, as a weed scientist, as a taxonomic researcher, conservation expert, like plant physiologist, plant genesis, plant biochemist, paleobotanist, and whatnot. Fine. Plus, all of these has got handsome salary packages. Don't compare your what we say your area of interest or your job profile with others. But if you focus on this, you have a better career options both in India and abroad. Right? There's one website that is Indian Association of NGOs from Taxonomy, which is into taxonomic research, and it is a body wherein all the taxonomics of India they come together and they work. Right? So many new species are discovered or they enter into the classification. And plus, when I say you have a better and nice future into this, because this is a certified skill that is being identified. Right? If you are plant taxonomist, it is identified as a sector specialist skill by the National Skill Development Mission, that is NSDM. Right? Out of all the 4 lakh or different skills, this is one of the skills that is identified in this particular sector, wherein a graduate or a postgraduate from botany, fine, with a specialized skill in the sector of plant taxonomy, fine, it is a certified sector skill, and you will be getting a good amount of money if you go to foreign as well. Fine, so there are huge career options in this sector. For further details of this sector also, as well as for further details of various skills that you can develop, for your future job profile. Right, so you can go to this National Skill India Mission website. You will be having a list of 4 to 5 lakh different skills that are being nurtured, that are being developed at various institutes. Fine, it is a short course, whatever that course is designed. It is only like a PG diploma kind of thing where you invest your 6 months, but you nurture this skill and you develop a skill in such a way that it will be a job giving skill to you. Right? So you can set a job by getting expertise in that particular skill. Right? So you can always go to this website and check out whatever skills that are related to your subject. I think it will be broadly classified under life science sector skill. Right? So you can always check with LSSDC, that is Life Science Sector Skill Development Corporation. You'll be finding all sort of skills that are pertaining to life science sector. And obviously, then after getting into this, you can always scrutiny which are directly related to your subject, and you can then see which are the institutes which are running the courses or which are running the skill nurturing programs. Next sector is the environment sector. It is always good to be lenient about various environment projects. And environment conservation is a booming task for almost all the developed countries across the globe. With the ever-increasing air, water, and land pollution, there is a increasing need of skilled and knowledgeable individuals who can work to develop technology for a greener and sustainable environment. This is a kind of thing that goes hand in hand with the already discussed topic, that is of forestry and climate change. So you can always find various projects that are undertaken by government in the environmental sector. Plus, there is always an opportunity for getting a government job. These are available at various levels, such as research position, research scientist, project scientist, scientific officers. Of course, there are pollution control boards in both state and central levels, that is the state pollution control boards and the CPCB, that is Central Pollution Control Board, and many other autonomous bodies, yes, that work under both state and national central government. And some of the national institutes are also set up which are working in the area of environment. I think the majority of you might be knowing because it is located near to you. That one is Niri, Nagpur. Fine. So you can always, if you are having interest in environment biology or in environmental sector, you can always have a look at this website and get a view on what people are working on to, and always apply for a position in this sector. Next is the pharmaceutical research and drug discovery, the most text and majority of focus is given on to this pharmaceutical research nowadays. And as we know that now we have become a global leader in manufacturing and producing genetic drugs. Right? And almost we are a kind of hub for all of the pharmaceutical ingredients that are being produced, procured. We are into supply chain management. India is the leading country for establishing supply chain management from third world countries to developed, underdeveloped and developed countries. We are supplying to almost all of them. Right? We are into plant-based products and derivatives. So India is a booming thing. It is actually a manufacturing hub for all of these. So if you consider this is a good career option. Of course, directly after your BSc Botany, you may not be able to get into this. But obviously, after doing your MSc or for pursuing PhD, I would always recommend this. If you are into pharmacognosy, interest in pharmacognosy and this type of field, you are having a very good option of NIPERS. Fine. There are total 7 NIPERS, that is National Institute of Pharmaceutical Education and Research, and these has been established across India to boost pharmaceutical research and development activities. All of the above institutes, all of the above NIPERS, they run master's degree program as well, doctoral and postdoctoral programs, and whatever the courses that they are running, they are all degree awarding courses. And all of these NIPERS, they have this authority that they can give a valid degree. Right? So these are national institutes across India. Total 7 are there. So you can contact, you can see what, because geography-wise, each of the NIPERS will be covering a peculiar kind of thing that is in their vicinity. They will be focusing onto it. Right? Plus, always you have a career option in Indian as well as multinational companies, the pharma companies that are in these sectors, and we will be getting a good package after this. So you can also visit this website that is having details of all the NIPERS. All the NIPERS, they are also again funded by central funding agencies like CERL, DBT, and other funding agencies like CSIR. So fund is not the issue. You only thing is that if you have an innovative idea, you can always take up a project at a doctoral level, and you can fetch funds from the government as well, and you can establish yourself in this field of pharmaceutical research. Again, whatever thing that we say lucrative thing, that is government positions are always available in this field. Government job as a drug inspector, as a food and drug inspector, as an analyst, government pharmacist in public sector units. So everywhere there are government positions available after this. Apart from that, expert in plant science have a huge role to play in local markets because nowadays the Ayurveda is getting immense attraction due to this COVID-19 pandemic. Majority of people, they have shifted the treatment or the therapeutic things. They have shifted their focus from allopathy to Ayurveda. So plant and plant-based extracts are gaining more of importance. Right. So this is mark my words. This is the field that you can enter if you are having a very good knowledge of traditional medicinal plants in India. Right. And you can be a pharma giant. Fine, but while working with plant-based products. So it is the right time to enter into this market if you are having good knowledge of traditional Indian plants and medicinal plants. Then, of course, whatever the paradigm shift has taken into place, the research, the biotechnology sector, the plant breeding, and all. Right. So the next sector that is identified, that is genetics and plant breeding. Now here comes the major player of this, that is Indian Council of Agriculture Research. And so it is an autonomous body that is established directly under the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, the Government of India. And it does all the kind of research, all the funding, all the education also comes under this. That is the agriculture education. So whatever MSc Agriculture, MSc Agronomy, Soil Science, all of this is done by the IARI or ICAR. So ICR, it has got 4 deemed universities and 65 national institutes which are working continuously, and dedicated research facilities are there. Fine, it has got 15 national research centers. It has got 6 national bureaus as well and 13 directorates. That is, directorates are set up in particular geographical location of pan-India. So there are specific research centers who are dedicatedly working on rice, some are working specifically on wheat, some are working on coconut, some are working on silk, groundnut, tobacco, and whatnot. Right? So there are dedicated directorates that are working in this sector. So huge number of positions are available for BSc, Life Science, Botany, Microbiology, Biotechnology graduates after this. Right? And at least there are 64 state agriculture universities with full-fledged infrastructure establishment to carry out research in this agriculture sector. Right? So always there will be number of research positions available at various levels. In each level, you will be having your interest as well. Right? It's not like that it will be only taxonomy, it will be only this. But if you are interested more in molecular biology, more in microbiology or plant microbiology, or if you are interested in studying various plant diseases, developing disease-resistant variety of crop plants, developing drought-resistant or saline-resistant variety of plants like that. Right? So avenues are many. Plant genetics and plant breeders are the highest in demand among the agricultural companies. You just Google it out. You say plant breeder job profile or a requirement of plant breeders. You will find that how many companies are currently requiring plant breeders. Right? So these are the 2 websites that I have mentioned. That is IARI. That is Indian Agricultural Research Institute. You can go through it. They are the ones that are working in this sector, and they are also recruiting agriculture scientists. You can always make up your career as an agriculture scientist, working both in farm and field as well as in education research. The next is the food and processing sector. India, as I said, it is identified. India's food and grocery market is now becoming the 3rd largest in the world. Indian food sector is the highest growing sector with immense potential for value addition. And it is expected that it will soon, by 2020, it will reach to US dollar 482 billion market. Right? So 482 billion is a huge amount. And so these are all the websites that I have mentioned. These are specifically Government of India initiative. These are working in food processing, Ministry of Food Processing India and foodprocessingindia.gov.in. These are the websites. And there is a huge requirement of skilled professionals. As I said, that again, few of the skills are identified from this sector as well. The food processing, food packaging, these are the sectors that are being identified. Certificate courses are available in these sectors as well. It will always be helpful to you if you are having 1 or 2 certified skill programs in your bag. Fine. So there is a user requirement of skilled professionals who can work round the clock to lift the ongoing research development in this sector. developing food quality, safety standards, and evolving testing protocols, develop and strengthen research programs, and their linkages in industry and taking all these to the end consumers. Business incubations and consumer research and information sharing. These are all the things that are being done by these institutes. And if you say research wise, then DBT has got its autonomous institute, that is National Agri Food Biotech Institute. It is set up in Mohali. It is an autonomous institution, and it is fully funded by DBT, and it has got almost all research facility that are at par comparable with any foreign labs. You can compare it with US labs. It is having that much potential. So all kind of high-end research that is done. We have this facility at NABI also. And so for working in plant biotechnology sector, you have this option open. Next is the cumulative thing, that is the biotechnology sector as well, because all of the above 8 studied factors, they can be having their inputs in this sector. So again, India is a booming place to carry out research and development related activities. Henceforth, International Center for Genetic Engineering and Biotechnology, that is ICGEB, was established under the UNIDO in 1983. The ICGEB is a unique autonomous intergovernmental organization with biotech labs in Italy, India, and South Africa. This also undertakes research in field of plant biotechnology, technology transfer, agriculture waste processing, management, apart from the other research initiatives which are common to all 3 partnering countries. The details you can always find on the icgv.org website. ICAR and IARI, that is Indian Agriculture Research Institute, are also working alongside with ICGB for development of various resistant and improved varieties. Again, NCBS, that is National Center for Biological Sciences, that is again in collaboration with TIFR, provides both research and funding opportunities to carry out high quality research both in India and abroad. And you can also have ties with the foreign labs to work in this sector. All of these institutions give way to young minds with innovative thinking to pursue degree and undertake research as their profession. And mind well, I say guaranteed opening as well as chances to settle abroad and carry out postdoctoral research. Right? So it is not like that there are very less career options available after BSc Botany. There are immense potential in this field, and you can always have research in your mind. If you are really interested in biotechnology research with plant and agriculture sector, the sky is the limit for you. Lastly, many private sector companies are there which are making into business with agriculture products, agriculture produce, pesticides, chemicals. So these are all private sector companies, and you can easily get a job at entry level. Private companies, both local and MNCs, will be hiring at various levels, right from junior to senior management executives. Enormous potential again if you are having an MNC with you. So majority of MNC are now entering into the Indian market because as I mentioned in the previous slide that the Indian food sector is rising. So majority of MNC, they are entering into the Indian market with FMCG products as well as agriculture produce. So there is a huge potential for you. So after your BSc, you can always opt. If those who are having, because I am a Gujarati, so business is always in our mind. Some way or the other, business is in our mind, right? So you can always pursue a degree in management or business administration after your BSc or MSc, and you can have this thing in mind that MNCs are coming into India, so huge Indian market, a capital market is available to capture. So higher packages are also being offered to those who are knowing the plant science, agronomy based economy. Many seed and pesticide companies, including the major giants like Bayer, Monsanto, Myco, Syngenta, are into this business, and they are slowly capturing the Indian markets. Right? And they will be requiring professionals who can work at all levels. Right? So there is immense potential in private sector as well. Lastly, whatever these current trends that are being focused on to, so if you are into research, so nearly all of the omics-based approach, they are currently in trend. So 5 years down the line, if you want to make up your career in this sector, right, so omics-based approach will always be handy for you. Right? So an added diploma or certificate course and excessive hands-on training in the field of bioinformatics, genetics, big data analysis, or these are the emerging fields. You can have a certificate course or a degree in it. With the ease of access to sequencing technologies, the specialization in areas of transcriptomics, metabolomics have attained special focus. Right? Dedicated projects are assigned, and you can have your research into it. And mind well, these are not only the projects where you can get your degree. These are the projects which can get you a job, and it can also establish you in the field. Looking into that same line, there is an institute set up by the government of India, that is National Institute of Plant Genome Research, it is NIPGR. It is set up by the government funding by the DBT, New Delhi. And it provides infrastructure, facility and high caliber in both basic and applied plant molecular biology research. So our website address is also given. You can always go to this website and check what are the avenues that are available to you. Various career options, even for studying, for pursuing degree, as well as for finding good career option. You can always have option as a scientist in all of these national institutes, provided that you clear their national level exams, right? Provided that you have a good number of publications, good doctoral and postdoctoral research that you have done. So, summing up on this, you have good career options available. So it's not like that after BSc Botany I am not left with any other options, or after MSc in Life Science I am not left with any other option. You need to amalgamate. Amalgamation of various subjects is required. That is the need of our. So only focusing on traditional things that are in botany, or shifting only onto the modern techniques that are being used to study won't help you. It is the amalgamation of all the fields. You should also have the knowledge of traditional things. You should also be knowing classical, the base of the subject, and added on to it, you need to have various technologies in your hand that you can work on. So with this, I think if any students have any questions, I'm open for questions. I'll conclude.